My name is John Green, and I'm here today to talk to you about perhaps one of the most popular and well-received customer service videos in perhaps the last 15 years, and it's called Fish. Okay, but before we get into Fish, I want to do a little exercise with you. So everybody, close your eyes for a minute. We're going to use your imagination. So imagine it's early, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Your alarm goes off. You've got a 10 to 12 hour day ahead of you. And you know you have to go into work where you're working outside and you're working in cold conditions with ice, slimy fish, you're packing, you're selling to customers. You have to deal with customers for the next 10 to 12 hours. Okay, so go ahead and open your eyes for a minute. So that is an oh so real situation that faces the Pike, or that faced the Pike Place Fish Company out in Seattle. And the owner was having decreased sales. The attrition was high. He was losing a lot of employees. It was a tough job. It was a tough environment, not for everybody. So what did they do? One day, they decided, we want to be world famous. Okay, that's kind of a grand gesture. How do you become world famous? What do you do to be the most famous fish market in the world? So they had a meeting. They called it their fish tank. They decided, what can we do? What can we do around here to become world famous? And after the break, one of the employees was feeling a little playful, and when somebody shouted an order, they threw this huge fish up over the counter, and the guy surprisingly caught it, and everybody cheered. And they all just looked at each other and said, that's it, we've got it. So what they did is they came up with 4 simple principles. They're as effective as they are simple, okay? And if you put them all together, it was going to change the culture, change the work environment, and ideally, if they did it right, they'll become world famous. So back in 1997, a film crew heard about this, and they came out and they decided to spend a couple of days and filming what was really happening out there. It wasn't as exciting as people were saying. I mean, as of today, they have up to 10,000 visitors a day that go to the downtown public market to come to see Pike Place. So, the first philosophy is called play. Okay, now, play is really, in this philosophy, it's a mindset rather than a specific activity. Playing could be anything. A lot depends on your work environment. What type of job do you have? There have been videos and examples of construction company, hospitals, car companies, call centers where they're roller skating around the production floor. All right, so playing is unique to your own work environment. So this fish tank that they did out at Pike Place, you can do that in your own company. Get together and have a team of people look and experiment. How can we play? How can we bring, it's not necessarily playing, it's a playful approach to things, a playful enthusiasm to your everyday problems. And you could create solutions with a more positive, enthusiastic atmosphere because you're thinking of playing rather than working. So the next one's called Make Their Day. So in the video, there was a great example of a woman who was supposedly very shy, and she didn't want to, but they encouraged her to go up behind the counter. And so they gave her one of those big pieces of wax paper, and next thing you know, everybody's cheering, and they throw her the fish. She tries to catch it, and it just goes all over the place. So she doesn't do it. So they try one more time. She misses it again, but they come back behind there, and everybody snaps her picture, and they give it to her. And you know darn well, this is going to be a moment that she'll tell all her friends. She's always going to remember. Kind of brought her out of her shell. That was making someone's day. Making someone's day could be simple. I was in a drive-through at a hot day in Florida with the bank, and I'm not going to say the name of the bank, but there were 3 lanes of the drive-through, and there were at least 3 or 4 cars deep. It must have been like a Friday. And next thing you know, somebody comes out from the bank with a big basket, and they're going door to door, and they're giving cold bottles of water to everybody. They can't do anything about the wait. Everybody's working, but this was just a little simple gesture that I thought, you know, that's kind of nice. Not everybody does that. Hyatt Regency. It was a hotel up in New Jersey, and upon check-in, the person gave me a little pin, and they said, during your stay, Mr. Green, if you encounter any really nice gestures over and above what you might think of staying in a hotel, do me a favor and give this pin to that employee. And what we do at the end of every month, we have an award ceremony, and whichever employee has the most pins, they get a nice prize. Okay, so again, it could be anything from a small little gesture to something grand, but making a customer's day, and not just external customers, but your colleagues, because they're an internal customer. So, you work with them every day, so you want to make their day as well. And as the boss, if you see something, act on it. See something good, show your appreciation right then and there. The third one is called being there. Okay, now being there is essentially being focused. Avoid outside distractions, active listening. Whether you're dealing with a customer, and if you're talking to a customer, they're in front of you, there's all this stuff going on. I've worked retail, and I know what it's like. It's sometimes difficult to block all that out and just listen to what the customer wants and help them. Okay, whether it's internal, say you're the boss and somebody comes in and they have an issue and they sit down at your desk, turn that cell phone off. Okay, lock the door and just be there and talk to the person. It's a sign of respect as well. In today's age, many people's attention span is like this. We got phones going. Everybody wants all this information now. Put it down. Be there. Be present when you're dealing with customers and when you're dealing with your fellow employees. The fourth one is probably the most important, because without choosing your attitude, these three would not be as effective. So CYA, not the CYA that you may be thinking. Choose your attitude. Choosing your attitude is kind of a moment-to-moment thing. It's hard. When you first decide to do this, having that glass is half full type philosophy is very difficult. But what will happen when you do that is you can't stop difficult things and problems from coming out through the day, but what you can do is not overreact. Oftentimes, if you find yourself in a grumpy mood, somebody says something and it just kind of irritates you, and your reaction to it is actually bigger and more powerful than it really should. Okay, so what you can do by having that positive attitude, when something bad comes at you, it's not so bad. You can kind of like fluff it off. Okay, hey, it's no big deal. All right, I'm not going to let that ruin my day. It also affects your customers and how they react, okay, when they come into your environment. I have a great example of this. It's with my brother. I should probably pay him royalties. I've been talking about this for years. He is a phys ed teacher at a really large elementary school in Florida. Okay, it's hot. His school didn't have the budget for a shelter. They had old equipment. They didn't have a break during the day other than lunch. They were so busy. And so another teacher that was with them, a newer teacher, she looked at all that and she filed suit with the county for all those bad work conditions, bad environment, too busy, poor equipment. Whereas my brother, same conditions, same atmosphere, same issues, he was elected Teacher of the Year. So how is that? Two people with the same job, same conditions, same everything. One files suit, one's Teacher of the Year. It's because he decided to choose his attitude. Okay? He was proactive, instead of being reactive. That's what one of the things about choosing your attitude is you're in charge. You want to be proactive. You don't want to always be reacting to things. Okay? There was one other that I wanted to talk to you about being there, and I just remembered it. It's a little exercise somebody taught me years ago. When you come in at the start of the day, say you work in an office or wherever you happen to work, in a cubicle, get a piece of paper and then just take a moment to jot down a couple of things that are on your mind, some things that might be bothering you. Maybe having trouble with your marriage, your girlfriend, you don't have enough money in the bank, your car is acting up. So you've written these things down, and then symbolically, you're going to crumple it up and then throw it in the trash. Okay, so what's that do? Still have those same issues, but there is nothing you can do about it for the next 8 hours. All it's going to do is distract you from doing your job and being present with the people around you. So it was kind of a kind of effective, quick little exercise that, and you can adopt your own one, but it's part of being there. So we have play, make their day, be there, and choose your attitude. 4 simplistic but highly, highly effective principles that if you and your company decide to adopt, get that fish tank going, and look at ways how you can bring the fish philosophy into your own business. And you'd be surprised whether it's increased sales, lower turnover, better customer satisfaction scores, all those things together is going to keep your business thriving. So if you like the fish philosophy, and if you like to look at the videos, go on charthouse.com and you can quickly sign up for it. It's free. And you can watch a preview, the full, it's 18 minutes of the original fish video, and they have others. Fish for Leaders, they have different case studies where they followed other companies. They visited other companies, hospitals, call centers, car dealerships that have adopted this, and you can see in real world how other companies have used these 4 principles in their way they're approaching business. So I hope you enjoyed it, and happy fishing.